Welcome family. Before us we have mathematics paper 1 for the 2024 for GCE. So we are going to consider this one as our first party where we are beginning from question 1. So as we can see, language in mathematics is very important, so you need to understand what it simply means when they say to evaluate. So to evaluate simply means to find the actual numerical value. Right, so now before we evaluate the given problem, so let me first show you how to deal with this. So let's say we have a number raised to the power, let's say x over y. So this number here is called a base. Then whenever the power is a fraction, the denominator of the power is called the root. So the root tells you the number that you can multiply by the same number, whether 2 times, 3 times, or 4 times, to have the base. Then on top here, the numerator is for a power. So you need to write the square root. Then inside the square root is where you're supposed to put your base. Then here your root, then raised to the power x. Now let's make sense out of what we have written here. So for a question like this one, 8 over 27 is our base. So this number will be written inside the square root. Then our root is 3, which simply means that we need the cube root of 80 and the cube root of 27. So the cube root simply means the number that we can multiply by the same number 3 times to give us the number that we have under the square root. Then everything raised to the power 2. So here, let's say 1 multiplied by 1 is equal to 1. Therefore, the cube root of 1 is just 1. 2 times 2 times 2 is equal to 8. The cube root of 8 is just 2. 3 by 3 by 3 is equal to 27. The cube root of 27 is equal to 3. So you need to know the cube root of numbers. So therefore the cube root of 8 is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 is giving us 8. The cube root of 27 is 3. Then everything raised to the power 2. So to simplify our answer, this is same as 2 over 3 multiplied by 2 over 3. So if you multiply 2 times 2 will give us a 4 over 3 by 3 will give us a 9. So this is our final answer. So we have evaluated. We move on to question number 2. So question number 2 is where we are told to simplify. So to simplify simply means to make it simple. So we have 4 we multiply with x minus 2. Then the second one, 3 we multiply with 2x minus 3. So 4 multiplied by x gives us 4x. Then positive 4 times negative 2 gives us negative 6. So we are done with the first bracket. We move on to the second one. So positive 3 times 2x will give us 6x. Then positive 3 times negative 3 will give us negative 9. Here we can collect the like terms. So 4x and 6x are like terms. Negative 6 and negative 9 are like terms. So we'll say 4x plus 6x minus 6 minus 9. So when you collect like terms like this, since we don't have an equal sign, please do not change the signs of numbers. So here we have positive 4 and plus 6, so we are going to add and maintain the sign. So 4 plus 6 is giving us 10x. Even here we are going to add and maintain the signs, so this will give us negative 15. So this is our final answer. We move on to question number 3. So question number 3, we are told to solve. So what is to solve? So to solve simply means to find the value of a given letter. So in our case, we want to find the number that we can multiply by 3, then subtract by 5 is equal to 0. So what we are saying is, since we are given a factorized function, you get each bracket equal to 0, first solution. The second solution will be x plus 2 also must be equal to 0. So the problem in this question is that we need to find a number representing x in such a way that if we substitute where there is x by that number, the solution must be 0. So let's say 3x minus 5 is equal to 0. So I'm going to shift negative 5 to the right side because our task is to solve for x. So negative 5 will become positive 5. So is equal to plus 5, so over 3 over 3. Therefore, the first solution is x is equal to 5 divided by 3. So which simply means that if we say 3x minus 5 is equal to 0, can this work if we say x is equal to 3 over 5? So let's try. So I'm going to substitute where there is x with 3 over 5. So I'm going to say 3 times 5 over 3 minus 5 is equal to 0. So I can cancel the 3. I have 5 minus 5 is equal to 0. So 5 minus 5 is 0 is equal to 0. So the first solution is satisfied. So let's move on to the second one. So x plus 2 is equal to 0. So x represents a number that we can add to positive 2 to give us a 0. So to do that, we shift positive 2 to the right side. So giving us x is equal to 0 minus 2. X is equal to minus 2. How true is this? So let's look at this equation. So x plus 2 is equal to 0. So if we substitute negative 2 where x is, can the solution be satisfied? So let's check out. So negative 2 plus 2 is equal to 0. We know that these two will give us 0 is equal to 0. So the solutions are okay. So we are done with the first question. Third question. So we move on to question number 4. So question number 4 is where we are given a factorization. So before we factorize, first I want to maybe expand this question. So we have 7 times x times x. So I've just expanded the first expression. Minus, we know that 7 is same as 1 times 7. 1 times 7 is 7. So I need to find a common factor, the greatest common factor in the first expression. So we can see that here we have a 7. Even here we have a 7. So if we remove 7, in our brackets will remain with x times x, which is, I'll just keep them like this, x times x. So if you want, you can just say x squared is the same, minus 1. Then this is x squared. So if you want, you can say 7 is equal to x squared minus 1. So x times x minus 1 times 1 is same as 1. There's no, like, we haven't done anything wrong. Now for this one, I'm going to say 7 multiplied by x squared is minus 1 squared. So we know that 1 times 1 is still 1. So upon reaching here, we need to bring in the method known as difference of two squares, where we say if we have a squared minus b squared, you just have to open two brackets, a here, plus minus b. So that's what you're supposed to do. So move on to this now. So 7. Now, since 7 is affecting the two brackets, these brackets, so what you have to do is you use the square bracket to show that the 7 is affecting the two brackets. So the first x will go in the first bracket, the second x in the second bracket. So you say x here, x here. Then make sure that the two brackets have different signs. So one must have a plus, the other one a minus. It doesn't matter which one has a plus. So if I want, I can say x minus 1 or the same way it is. Then this one will go here, 1. Then this one will go here, 1. So this is our final answer, which is same as so x here, minus plus 1, 1. So as we can see, we have our solutions as required. Right, so we move on to question number 5. Use set notation to describe the shaded region in the Venn diagram below. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to first draw another Venn diagram. Now in this Venn diagram, you want to use numbers because sometimes it makes sense when you have a visual presentation. So let's put numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so if we go back to this question, the unshaded part simply means the unwanted, it has a complement. So anything or everything is A must not be part of the solution. It's not wanted. That's what this means. So if we look at A in terms of numbers, so set A in terms of numbers, we'll have numbers like 1, 2, 4, and 5. Now if you look at the relationship between B and C are shaded. So how can we combine two sets? So we use the union. So to find B union C, I'm going to write everything in B and C. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is B union C. Now since A is every element in A must not be part of the solution, it means that from B union C, I'm going to cancel. So 1 is not needed, 2 is not needed, 4 is not needed, 5 is not needed. So this simply means that A is not needed, including every elements that are found in A and may be common in B union C. So what are we supposed to do? You say A, you put the complement, then to show that everything is not needed, including B and C, elements that are common, you use now intersection. So A, including the intersection of B union C, is not needed. So this is our final answer. Let's hope we've made sense out of that. We move on to question number 6. A business got 800 shares worth 7,200 kwacha. What was the cost of each share? So we want to find the cost of each share. So to do that, I'm just going to get the amount of money. So the amount of money is 7,000 200. So I can ignore these zeros after the decimal. So to find the amount per share, when you have the total amount of money, divide by the number of shares the person has. So in our case, the number of shares the person has is 800. So we divide by 800. As we can see now, it's very simple. So what do? We can cancel the 2 zeros on top, so that we have 72 divided by 8. So if you don't know how to divide numbers like this, 8 into 72, if it's difficult for you as a person, you can start reducing. So how do you reduce? Find a number that can go into 72 and 8 without giving us a remainder. So I'll start with 2. 2 into 7 is 3, remainder 1. 2 into 12 is 6, over 2 into 80 will give us 4. If 4 is hard for you to like divide into 36, you can still reduce. 2 into 3 is 1, remainder 1. So 16 here. 2 into 16 is 8, over 2 into 4 is 2. I'm sure now this is simple. Let's ignore the k is needed since what was the cost? Okay, so 2 into 18 is 9. So this simply means that she was buying 9 kwacha per share. So we can now check out the next question, question number 7. So question number 7 is coming from the sequence and series. So the sequence 20, 17, 14 is an arithmetic progression. Find the 9th term. So we have 20 as our first term, 17 as our second term, 14 as our third term. Here, this should be 4th term, 5th term, 6th term, 7th term, 8th term, 9th term. So we want the number on position number 9. So to find that number, we can first find the common difference. So how do you find common difference? Remember, common difference is denoted by small letter d, then given by second term minus first term, or third term minus second term. So second term is 17 minus 20. So as we can see, the sequence is reducing. So as long as the sequence is reducing, the common difference must have a negative sign. 17 minus 20 will give us a negative 3. Or if we want, we can say 14 minus 17 will still give us negative 3. So that was the common difference. So this simply means that on each term, negative 3 was added, or 3 was subtracted to get the second term. So 20 minus 3 is 17, minus 3 is 14, minus 3 we have 11, minus 3 we have 8, minus 3, minus 3 we have 5, minus 3 we have 2, minus 3 we have negative 1, minus 3 we have negative 4. So the 9th term is negative 4. Right, so now if you want, we can also find the same number, but we can use this formula. Tn is equal to a plus n minus 1 times common difference. A is the first number, 20. N is the number of terms, 9. T is our common difference, 3. So let's substitute. T of 9 is equal to 20 plus 9 minus 1 times negative 3. So T9 is equal to 20 plus 9 minus 1 is 8 times negative 3. So whenever the common difference is negative, this sign here changes to minus. Then 8 times 3 will give us 24. So if we subtract 20 minus 24 will give us negative 4. As we can see, we are still getting the same value. Then we move on to question B, sum of the first 10 terms. So sum of the first 10 terms. So here we can have negative 7. So this is our 10 term. So it means that if we are to add all these numbers, what is the sum? So to maybe summarize that, we are going to say sum is equal to n divided by 2, open brackets, 2 times a, plus n minus 1, close brackets, multiplied by d. So first term is still 20, d is still negative 3, but n this time, n is equal to 10 since we want 10 terms. So s of 10 is equal to 10 divided by 2, 2 times 20, plus 10 minus 1 times negative 3. 10 divided by 2 will give us a 5. 2 times 20 will give us 40, plus 9 times negative 3. So 5, 40, here this sign changes to minus, 3 times 9 is 27. So 40 minus 27 is 13. So 13 times 5 is 65, which is 5 times 3 is 15. We keep the 1. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1, 6. So this is how we can answer questions like this. So if you want online classes, feel free to just comment in the description below. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.